Hi, and welcome to your next episode. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about friendship. Now, I've come to the conclusion that not everyone is your friend. We go through life and we try to grow our relationships, our friendships. We can sometimes get caught in that bigger association with having lots of friends, as that is our benchmark on how popular we are, or how well liked we are, when really it comes down to having those people who you can depend on, those people who have got your back, those people that will sing your praises even when you're not there. Now, I think through conversations, especially with my children, we have to kind of get used to labeling people what they are. Not everyone is your friend. Some people are acquaintances that you may have met on your journey in life. They may be colleagues that you once worked with. They may be people that you went to school with many years ago. It doesn't mean that they're now they're your friends, and that's okay. So once we can start stripping back and actually assigning the correct labels to the people in our life, perhaps that might be a little more easier when it comes to navigating that flow of friendships that we go through. Sometimes there may be a situation where you feel that you're putting more into a friendship than you're getting back. Perhaps it's time to reestablish what that relationship is. Perhaps it's time to recategorize it. When I look back, particularly, I had one friend, previous friend, who I'd known from a young age, maybe 6 or 7. And I got to the point when I was in my early 30s when I started to recategorize that friendship, because it became very apparent that we were on two very different paths in life. And the more I thought about our friendship over the years, it started to become very apparent that the only things we had in common was our past. And I was trying to move away from those past versions of myself. Yet this friend that I had, our only common themes, the only things that we could talk about were things that had happened in the past. And I know that we're all a product of that. And I know that in some cases that can seem quite comforting to know that you've got a shared history. But if that history isn't part of your future, why keep going back? And that's how I learned to let that friendship go, because we were no longer on the same paths. I no longer wanted to keep on going over old ground and doing the same thing. It just became very wearisome. So I left the friendship, literally overnight, walked away, and I haven't had contact with that person for 12 years, maybe. And I'm okay with that. I don't know if they are, but for me, our relationship, our friendship was done. There are other circumstances to it, but the main crux of it is we only shared the past. And where I wanted to go in the future wasn't keep revisiting the past. And to me, that's okay. And I think if we can look at those seasons of our life and see how our friendships fit into those seasons, and if there's a time in your life that is quite important at that time. So I'd seen somewhere about how our relationships change over time, depending on what's important in our lives at that time. So the friends that I had at school, I can quite honestly say I'm no longer friends with those people. College, I was at college for 3 years. I made some really good friends whilst I was at college, one significantly. And then over the years, our relationship has kind of drifted apart. And I'm okay with that, because circumstances change, and life changes, and your priorities in life change, and that's okay as well. And then as I've gone through a different transition in life, I've now had a very good friend who I've been friends with for getting on for 26 years. And she's the friend that I would ring in the middle of the night if I had a family emergency. She's the one I know that would be there without question. She's got my back. She would be there. And we don't see each other from 1 week, 1 month. Sometimes it has even been 1 year to the next. And we're both okay with that, because when we come back and when we do meet up, it's like no time has changed at all. But she knows I'm there for her. I know that she's there for me. She would be my ride or die. We accept each other where we're at, with our families, with partners, and whatever life challenges are throwing at you. We've been there. And I think we've been there for each other when we've been at those low, dark points in life, but we've also been there for the celebrations as well. And that's a beautiful thing about how our friendship has evolved. We meet each other where we're at that point. And that's been very significant for myself over the years, is having someone like that. So it's realizing that friendships, not everyone is your friend. You can have that ride or die. No, you could. Who is your Thelma to your Louise? If you've got a work bestie and you see that person in work and you're thick as thieves in work, but you don't see them outside of work, that's okay as well. We get so hung up on the popularity competition that sometimes we lose sight of, actually, we don't need reams and reams of friends. We just need that handful of people that we can call upon should we need. And I think when we can realize that our life is going through a series of seasons, maybe then we can feel a little more content with what we've got, instead of chasing that endless, like, you know, what else can I give? You know, if there's a situation where you feel like you're giving more to a relationship and you don't feel like you're getting back, well, what do you want back from that relationship? Is it time to reestablish it? Is it time to recategorize it? And that's how I open this. Is it time to recategorize our friendships for what they really are, or what we really need from them? Because if we're not getting something that we want or know that we deserve, then perhaps it's time to change it, or have that conversation, because it's meeting people where they're at, where they are. And is it fair of us to put these labels on people? And I hear more and more often that, you know, that we could be viewing our friend in another relationship with their friend, and why isn't our friendship like that? Why have they always got time to go off and do things with them? Why aren't they doing things with me? What is it that you want from this friendship? Because again, if we're not communicating our wants and needs, how can we expect them to know? They can't read our minds. Equally, we need to then say what we want as much as them saying what they want. And allowing people to have other friends. It's not a mutually exclusive relationship. It's a friendship. And a lot of that is accepting people where they are. So that's my question to you in this short episode. Is it time to recategorize your friendship? How does that sit when you know that not everyone is your friend?